Hello and welcome to this series of podcasts by Vajiram and Ravi. Today, the discussion would revolve around that what should be the right optional for you and how would you know that? And how psychology comes in the picture. And for that, we have our esteemed faculty member with us today who is going to guide you through all of your queries. Yes, Mukul Pathak sir is here. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, we will be discussing all of the questions that you have in your mind. So, let's begin. So, my first question to you would be, according to you, what exactly is the right optional?
Right optional depends upon individual's own choice, interest, inclination, and also to an extent, how is a particular optional doing at UPSC?
So, basically, when we look at a right optional, we have to look at our backgrounds too?
Well, background plays a role, but I personally believe that if person's sharpness and ability to understand is excellent, then background doesn't play that prominent a role.
Okay. So basically, when we choose psychology, we do not have to have any specialization in this particular field.
No, I would say if you have basic level of alertness,
Okay.
above average IQ, burning desire to do well, eagerness to learn, and be alert and observant, this is an optional that can help you out to clear the exam.
Okay. So why psychology? Why it is the right optional?
Well, as I told you, that the right optional is on individual's choice. But if you ask me about the benefits of reading psychology, so both from the standpoint of the examination and life beyond, psychology is very useful. For the examination, psychology does provide some help in other areas as well, say, for example, interview and essay. And also, otherwise, it is a very interesting discipline to learn. You know about yourself, your surroundings, how you relate with others, how you relate with seniors, juniors, etc. And at the same time, psychology optional, psychology reading would benefit an individual in order to understand himself as well.
Okay.
So this way, he can be well integrated with his environment.
That is very true, sir. Sir, when we see this subject at university level or say in school level, when we started actually, it is way more different when we talk about optional in UPSC CSE, right? So how different is UPSC CSE's optional psychology from what we studied at university level?
See, at the university level, the questions are very basic.
Okay.
At UPSC level, civil services examination, questions are little more tough, indirect, and require you to relate between the concepts effectively. So there is much more analytical and synthetic thinking involved.
Okay. So what is the major areas that are covered in the syllabus of this optional?
Well, psychology is one optional that covers almost all areas of human mind and behavior.
Okay.
Say, for example, there is cognitive psychology, there is social psychology, there is clinical psychology, there is abnormal psychology, there are applied areas of psychology. So anything that we do, the way we act, all are covered. The study of all this is covered in psychology.
Okay. So when we talk about the major areas, I've heard students who are actually this is not very conventional subject, right? This is a scientific subject, a logical subject. So even those students who have taken, who have specialization in this field, they are actually scared of choosing this optional, right?
No, that is a very wrong notion that people have developed.
Yeah.
The point is that you see, if you are a front runner in the race to clear civil service examination, then you should trust your intelligence.
Yeah.
And whether it is psychology or any other optional, requirement of intelligent work, smart work, and hard work, all three is required. So one should not be afraid of it. It is like this: if you are playing a game of cricket, you can expect bouncers to come, and you must be ready to weave your way out from the bouncer. That is an art.
True.
That is the requirement of the exam.
That is very true. So let's say one has made up their mind to choose this optional. Where exactly one should start? What is the prerequisite to choose this?
Very simple. You can start with reading NCERT 11th and 12th books of psychology. This is followed by psychology by Baron and Mishra. There is a general psychology book by Baron and Mishra. Not more than this. I recommend people to read. Rest we will all cover in the class.
Okay, that is very short, I would say, because whenever I ask like the faculties for the resources or let's say books to start with, they come up with a very long list and you just give just 2 to 3 books. I guess this is a very interesting and like very good subject.
No. The book list is short for the reason being
Yeah.
that I believe reading one thing many times is better than reading many things one time.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that this list is an exhaustive list. We have our notes and as well as class teaching in which we will provide comprehensive insights to the students about the subject, and the experiences in classroom should hold them in good stead as far as meeting the challenge of the exam is concerned.
Definitely, sir. So when we're talking about the classrooms of psychology optional, sir, what do you think are the major problems that students face in the class? What have you seen students struggling with the most? Which topics or let's say?
Well,
which
honestly
areas?
speaking, I would say one problem which every student faces is to come in terms with the words or the jargon that the subject has. But for that, one should be ready. Why? Because psychology is unique in the sense that it has a touch of humanities, touch of science also, touch of particularly in science biology, so, and also it has a bit of mathematics also in it. So that way, I mean, it is an amalgamation of large number of things. But one should be ready for it, because if you are, as I said in the beginning, if you are a front runner in this race to qualify in civil service examination, this kind of prowess you need to possess.
Truly, sir. So, you definitely said that this was going to help in your whole UPSC journey. Sir, how is this going to overlap with other GS subjects? Is there any possibility?
Well, others say GS subjects only two things. Number one is interview and number two is essay subject. A part of psychology is there in ethics paper also. So you can always say that at least 25% of the questions in ethics are directly from psychology.
Okay. So, how would you say this subject is going to help the student in the like fundamental way in this whole UPSC journey? As it is a very long journey, we know, and psychology is actually a very good subject. When we look at it, it changes a person from inside, right? When you read it, you know about the human behavior, right? So, how it is going to help in this whole journey?
Journey, as I told you, see, what does UPSC require? Number one, physical fitness. Number two, mental fitness. Now, the point is, if you read psychology, you always are in better position to manage your stressors well, to overcome the fear of failure well, okay, to continue to work hard, motivate yourself to work hard. All these things psychology offers. So since it enhances individual's understanding of himself, so the subject therefore is of immense benefit to the student.
So, how is psychology been performing in past few years? If we say, like, what is the scores of the students who are scoring, or like who is getting ranked with this optional subject?
See, I will tell you, UPSC has a moderation scheme
Okay.
in which they make more or less sure that the equal percentage of people from each subject get representation at the interview. So, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. I mean, what number of people are getting selected? The percentage of selections from the total number which appear is constant across the options. And regarding the scores, let me tell you, they continue to vary year on year basis. But in general, a good score in psychology is one which is above 270. And second, I would like to say that you see, the scores are very important, but also equally important is that when you get that score, is that overall training in the subject helping you improve with your writing, presentation, thinking to score well in other papers as well? Psychology does allow for this because it forces you to indulge in both convergent and divergent thinking, which is very essential for scoring well in different papers of GS.
Okay, that is true. So, when we talk about this optional subject, your classrooms, sir, I have seen through like the online classrooms, I've seen the videos of your classrooms, and I would say they were really interesting. You definitely have a unique pedagogy. I would like you to explain to the students that when they'll be choosing our optional subject here at Vajiram and Ravi, what is there for them?
You see, our approach is very simple. First of all, we define the term, then we explain the term, then we offer the examples, and in our effort to offer the examples, at least I prefer that the examples which I give relate to their daily lives. When the example relates with the daily life, it is easy to memorize and remember that example. And I must add this also, at the end of the day, entire civil service examination is 80% memory, 10% intelligence, and 10% what we call as God's grace. So if there is a combination of three, you get into service. And that is what you can strive for. You can strive for at least to make 90% of things which are possible from your effort happen. About God's grace, let us offer prayer to God every day.
Yeah, that is very greatly said, sir. Sir, when we talk about answer writing in this optional subject, what are good answers in psychology optional?
No, good answers in psychology optionals or good answers in all other optionals follow the same pattern.
Okay.
First and foremost, when the question is presented, you must be able to read the question on the line and between the lines. For example, you need to know what the question denotes, and second, what the question connotes. Second, what you need to do is you need to make sure that your introduction is very, very catchy. It should actually convey what the essence of the question is. This is followed by body. And when in body, the main points of the question which needs to be answered, should be presented. The main points which questions are asking us to answer, we must present that, followed by a conclusion. Sometimes conclusions can be omitted as well, depending upon time requirement, depending upon the nature of the question. But in the body, make sure that you underline and your handwriting should be legible, because the bottom line is the more comfort you provide to the paper checker to correct your script, higher your score is likely to be.
So you must have gone through all the answer sheets of the students. You must have seen there like few general or common fundamental mistakes that students are making. So what are those, and how do you think that they can improve them?
See, the common mistakes are that the people don't, number one, understand the question.
Okay.
Number two, the mistake is that the information that there is presented in their memory, they are not able to recollect when the time requires them to recollect that information. Another problem is the problem in expressing their ideas through the words in a cogent fashion. That is yet another problem, because you can understand many times questions have abstract nature. Now to present your thoughts on these abstract things in a well-organized manner is a challenge for most students. Then there is also an issue of time management, because not many students go over and over again over the subject matter in order to register it firmly in their mental structure. So by the time they are able to recollect all information, either it is very poorly organized, or what happens is that they take far more time than what is actually allotted for a given question. This leads to them not completing the paper, and that is why sometimes the scores fall.
Okay, so talking about time, so syllabus of psychology optional, what according to you is the time or duration that is needed to cover the syllabus?
See, good control over the subject can come only when you invest at least 3 months exclusively after the coaching gets over.
Okay.
So coaching takes around 4 to 5 months plus 3 months over and above it. This will give you a fair control over the subject.
So we also have audience from remote areas who cannot go to some institutes, or let's say cannot have those institutes get involved in the preparation. Let's say they are doing it all by themselves. So what is the duration required for them?
Well, audience in far-flung areas who are not able to have access of coaching, I would say for them journey is going to be slightly tough, because psychology books, number one, are very expensive.
True.
Number two, are not so easily available also. And then there is plethora of search that they have to do from the internet in order to collect the material so that they can present their ideas effectively. And last but not the least, that training in answer writing is also something which, if they are blessed with, it is fine. Otherwise, it is very difficult to master it on their own. But this is not to say that people working on through their own effort have not qualified in the exam. They have qualified in the examination. But the only thing is that they will take more time in order to do so.
So I've always asked this question that who should take this optional subject, right? But now today I want to ask, like, what according to you is people that should not take psychology optional?
See, not taking matter does not actually arise. If you really don't want to take the optional, or that should be if you do not have any interest in it. Provided you have interest in the subject, there is no reason that should hold you back from taking the optional. And as far as hard work is concerned, as far as use of mental powers are concerned, they are more or less the same in every option.
True, sir. So, when we talk about value addition, how can we do that in the psychology optional answers?
Well, value additions can be done from number one, newspapers. If there is some news on juvenile delinquency, some news on crime, rising crime in the society, etc., that can be incorporated. Otherwise, there is plenty of information available in Wikipedia and other sites, simply psychology, etc., which you can from which you can draw the information and make it a part of your answer.
So, for those students who are going to enroll in a psychology optional program, so please, in concluding words, say something to those students what they are like going to find in our classes or optional program.
Well, I would say you enroll in the classroom program only when, number one, you like psychology, and number two, you have the trust in the teacher. From my side, I will spare no effort, but I would also like to add here that psychology is a diverse subject. So while the bulk of the coverage of the syllabus I shall be doing, there will be other teachers also assisting me in the program. Together we make a great team, and plus we will also hold some of the tests as well to enable you to figure out where lies the lacunae. So what I would say, only when you are inclined for the discipline of psychology, only then join.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much for those kind words. Sir, you are in this field for like 30 years, right? So, how would you say the optional program at Vajiram and Ravi is different from any other in the market?
Well, honestly speaking, I do not have an habit of harping on my past laurels. But I would say like this, that well, if I have been there for 30 years teaching with the same degree of enthusiasm, so you can always guess from that what kind of commitment I have for the subject. Rest, I mean, the people who have qualified in the examination will tell you what were their experiences with psychology, optional, and as well as teaching with me. All I can say is I will not leave any stone unturned to make you meet the challenge of civil services. If you trust me, I will try my level best not to let you down.
Thank you so much, sir. So I hope we were able to clarify all the doubts the student have in mind before choosing their right optional subject, I would say. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was
Thank you, ma'am.
pleasure. It was great pleasure to have a conversation here. We will be back with such amazing sessions again and again. Until then, you have to do just one thing, that is keep studying. And one more thing. I try my best to take up all of your questions, all of your queries. And if you have something in your mind which you think you need to get answered, please do comment. Thank you all.